What's good, YouTube? Another morning to yap. I hope you guys are good though. So, relationships are a very wild thing. You know, I wish I had my dad to tell me a lot of things and the right ways to go about um, my previous relationships with women. But unfortunately, it's an African thing. So you have to find out things for yourself. And I'm grateful to my guy. He knows himself definitely. Who was there to at least help me navigate a lot of things with women. So I started dating at 30. That's it was a it was a crazy experience to start dating at 30. While I was in university, I never had any intimate relationship with any woman, not because I didn't have feelings or urges. I had them, but they were just suppressed in in various degrees. So, but it's crazy. It's crazy that looking back, what I had to go through, because I was quite a little bit religious in some sense, very, very religious. So, throughout my early days at university till when I finished uni. So, you know, and it became harder because university was much more an easy platform for me to explore a lot of intimate adventures I would have loved to, but at 30 it became, when I left school, started looking for a job. Will I say job? Was I actually looking for a job? Because there was no work actually, because I wasn't qualified for anything, definitely. And I've never wanted to do a 9 to 5, which my parents don't even understand. So, but it's another discussion for another day. So, but at 30, it became very hard and terrible because even me, I'm a person who I'm not someone who is like always wanting to do the outside thing. I'm just more at home. I prefer to do things remotely, at my own time, my own space. I'm in control of everything and all that. So, but it made things much more difficult because going to church, going to some social gatherings were very terribly difficult for me. So, so I think 30 was 30 at age 30 was when I took it as my own sole responsibility, because I wanted to be efficient and fluent with my interactions with women, because for a very long time I have struggled so hard. I've struggled so hard with women, understanding women and how they move and the way they do things, But 30 was just that breaking point. I had to take that leap of faith. And at the end of the day, I started that journey. Man, I dated, or I met with a whole lot of women. And I mean, I met a whole lot of women, not necessarily the numerical aspect, but the quality. I met different types of women. You get? So I met women who are. I met a woman who was, let me put it that way. I met someone who was a nymph. I met someone who was very calm. I did some one night stands. What else again? I met different types of women. I met women who were very tricky, with their moves. I dated a chubby girl. I dated slim girls. I dated in between. I dated literally everything. you know, and I dated tall girls, dated short girls, you know, and a lot of types of women within a short span of time. I know that most men in their entire life probably have not dated more than 5 girls, you know. And sorry, I'm misconstruing the word. I It's not dating in that sense, but I've met a lot of women along the line. Probably if I have dated, or I would say dates, like properly dates in its actual sense, probably just two. But I met a whole lot of women, even cohabiting, you know, a lot of things, you know, I did within just that short span of time. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot. And which made me, at the same time, you know, when I tell people I've never had a heartbreak before in my life, it sounds very weird. Like I'm from Jupiter, I'm from a different planet. You get so, but I have not had an heartbreak before in my entire life, but I've had lots of series of rejection from women, a lot of series of rejection, you know. It's which is part of the game, because that's how you gain that tough skin and find a way to navigate the whole nuances when it comes to relationship dynamics and all that between a man and a woman. So for me, I've never experienced a heartbreak. Even the last relationship that just ended, it was more like she had to just leave, walk away. And but before then, I did walk away myself. You understand? So it's not like I didn't see it coming. So, but which, no, I wasn't hurt. She wasn't hurt. It was not like, even right now it's still unresolved, and I decide to leave it that way. That's the way I move. You get? So I've never had an heartbreak, which most guys will say you don't have experience to talk about relationships and stuff like that since you've never had an heartbreak. Boy, I get what your point will be if you say so, but I've experienced a fair amount of rejection when it comes to women, you know. And even someone leaving you, someone you like, it's not like you're dating someone that you don't like. You're dating someone that you like and you have emotions for that person. And even though the person leaves, there is a feeling, there's a type of hurt you have, in the sense, even though you are prepared, you are like, for me, I've been prepared all this while, like I know she will leave and all that. But even regardless of that, you will feel some type of way because you're a human, you're not a robot. So there's no how you won't feel some type of way. I don't want to call it, because it's not, for me, it's not a heartbreak, because at the end of the day, I saw it before her. Because normally in most relationships, women see the end before the man even sees it. You get? So women, they orchestrate everything and they break up with you immediately, and you're left heartbroken. You'll be stunned and be surprised, like, what happened? But me, it's that scenario didn't apply to me. So for me, it's much more like I'm the one in charge of the relationship, and I decided to walk away, and I decided to allow everything play according to my own plan and dictates. So I've not had a heartbreak in that sense, but I've felt hurt that someone left me, someone I had something for her. You get? So it's a crazy ride, because there's always the ups and the down, and you know, the uncertainty about whatever you guys are having at that moment, because you know, like a lot of pressure on her side because of social media, the influences that she's having. But you as a man who is grounded, and you know what you definitely want, and you know that things take time. To anything worth having, or anything worth being anything, takes time. So you know what it means to build something. Just like YouTube right now, this YouTube video I'm doing, it takes time, you know, to build a followership. build subscribers, you know. I'm looking, when you look at other people's channels, like other content creators, you see that it took them time as well. So you know, but if for a woman, they don't see these things, you know, the way we see them. So for them, they will not be they want the finished product, not the journey of greatness. So for me personally, I've not had an heartbreak, but I've had lots of rejections, a lot of rejections that I can't count. I've lost count of lots of rejections I've had with women. So but at 30, but when I was 30, I started this journey because I knew that I had a lot of questions that were unresolved over time, and I had to fix them up because I knew that if I had not taken that bold step, at the end of the day I would still have those deficiencies. It will creep into whatever long-term relationship I'll have with any woman. I knew it was a problem that I had to fix myself, and I took that step. And I would always say less is more. You don't have to spin 1,000 plates. I'll keep saying it. You don't have to spin 1,000 plates to understand women. You just need the appropriate qualities of women, different women in the whole spectrum. Because let's say there's left, there's right. So you need different types of women in all this spectrum to be able to sufficiently understand women. You don't, because if you have 1,000 plates, it probably means you have covered the spectrum like more than even 100 times. So for you as a man, you just need a balanced spectrum. You just need to experience women in all spectrum of life, and that's basically it. Women are actually wired the same way. Like the software is the same, it's just the hardware, which is just the external features, the back, the front, the color of their skin, the hair texture, you know. So those are just the ass, you know, like I said, the back, which is the ass, and you know, all those things are just the external features that will probably look different. This one is tall, this one is short, so all those things are not definitely necessary, you get. But the software is what really matters. When you're able to understand the software, you operate differently from other men who are void of this knowledge and experience. So this for me personally has been life-changing, because it has opened my eyes to a lot of realities about life, not just the dating world, but a lot of things, because that was an entrance for me to understand life in general. So me not having a heartbreak is a miracle compared to most guys who would of my age, who would tell you they have had series of heartbreak. But I'm glad, like, I took a different route, and even though it doesn't look realistic, it doesn't look something that can be achievable, but I've achieved that in that sense, and I'm happy for that, you know, and for the lessons I've learned along the way, which is one of the most important things.